The pick is in.
The Nashville Predators have traded up and made their next selection in the 2025 NHL Draft. I'm Rachel Donner, joined now by Ann Kimmel of Locked On Predators, and the Nashville Predators have selected defenseman Cam Reid with the 21st overall pick. Do you think they needed to trade up to get him?
Yeah, I have to tell you, this is a kind of an interesting move. The trading up didn't surprise me. This particular pick to trade up for, I think caught us a little bit off guard. I do, of course, love the Predators went out and got a defenseman. That is an area that they need to replenish. But this is maybe not the defenseman I thought that they would trade up and get.
Right. I think one of the interesting things about Cam Reid is how much of a good play driver he is as a defenseman. And if you note in his stats, his power play assist total, it's extremely high. So he's going to be extremely good on the power play for the Preds. He's not necessarily the shooter, but he's going to get the puck in the right spot to make things happen.
Yeah, and I do think that's one of the stats that you really have to look at when you look at this player. 40 assists last season in 67 games played. This is somebody who's going to drive play. And, the Nashville Predators, I'm not comparing this as apples to apples, but the Nashville Predators are used to seeing a defenseman like a Roman Josi be a fundamental part of kicking off offense. And so I think this is a player maybe in the similar vein. I'm not saying again this is apples to apples, but I do think this is going to be a style of play that Nashville Predators fans are familiar with when it comes to the blue line.
Right, and he has got a really strong all-around skill set, but not
Mhm.
necessarily a standout in any one thing other than maybe being a strong skater, and that helps him get up ice effectively, but he's gonna have to build something that is his thing, to get to the NHL, but he's very coachable, so I think that's very likely that it'll happen.
And that's one of the things too that I think stands out about this pick. Barry Trotz is very big, especially right now coming in as the general manager, just having been here a couple years. He is very big on culture. And he is very big on players who are intelligent, players who are coachable. And so I think that factors into some of these decisions. If, he's looking at two different players who have a very similar skill set on the ice, he's going to weigh that leadership ability off of the ice as well. And this is a player where I think that profiles.
Right, he's got a ton of mobility. He doesn't necessarily create the space, but he does take advantage of it when it's there. And so I think that's something that, everything you're describing about what Barry Trotz likes, I think will fit in pretty well.
Yeah, I do think this is going to be a good pick for the Predators. I will tell you, I think it's probably another surprising pick when it comes to the Predators fan base who is maybe rooting for hometown Nashville boy Blake Fiddler with
Mhm.
this bump up in the draft order. So I think maybe a little bit surprising. But again, I do think that this is a very, very Trotz pick.
Yeah, he's gonna have to improve a little bit so he doesn't get beat one-on-one, but again, I have full confidence that that's something that he can build on in Kitchener, as he continues his OHL career. But for continued coverage of Cam Reid and the rest of the Nashville Predators picks, check out Locked On Predators on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.